It's almost time to put the final planks onto Arabella. So this week the second floor gets cut back to make room for that work. And then the fridge gets powered up and a couple different power sources get experimented with. And then the steam wizard, Andrew Guest from Restoring Rosalind, brings a few old and powerful steam generators to seriously upgrade the steam game around here.
One of the biggest visual changes in the shop is about to happen. The setup has been like this for a long time. And the whole reason for not having done the whiskey plank until now has been so that we could keep this staging in place. We need to cut it back and move it in order to put these planks in. Some boats are built with simple scaffolding around them, and we've been really fortunate to be able to have all of our tools up here, easy to access, fewer trips downstairs.
Well, we've just done what we've been dragging our feet on for quite a while. So we planked up to here last summer, and we didn't want to cut all this staging back and make this giant hole alongside the boat and reduce our work area on the second floor dramatically. And now we can get in here to hang the last 3 planks.
But before the planking can happen, the deck beams still need to be trimmed back, and the bronze straps need to be let into some of the frames. We'll get to all that in next week's episode. For now, KP and George worked on some railing upstairs and then built the new staging for the planking work.
So George and I have been setting up staging so we can easily put up the last 3 planks, but we have to be at the right height to actually work. And of course, as with boats, nothing is straight. And so the fore and aft staging, we'll call it, is highest. And we figured about 3.5 feet from where we're working. And then of course it goes progressively down. So we put step here, step there, and then we did a ramp. We had to be really careful about how we lay the planking, inboard and outboard, because you can't work too close to the boat, but you can't be too far away too, and we don't want anyone to fall. So I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, a lot of compromising along the way, but.
We went super high on the bow end of the staging because we're switching. Our visitor entrance used to be at the stern, but since we'll be planking for a bit, the visitor entrance is now at the bow, and we don't want you all to hit your head. So we had to provide enough head clearance to come in and take a look at the boat and not smash your heads. So that, I think we made a good compromise. So come visit, but don't hit your head.
While the new staging was going up, Steve was finishing up the copper connections in the fridge and getting it ready to power up for the first time.
I picked up an AGM here, so we're gonna run the refrigerator off this for a little bit. But I just have the fridge hardwired, so we've got our positive and negatives here going to a bus bar. We've got our fuse in the positive line. This runs over to the compressor, and then the compressor is connected to our digital readout here, which controls the fan speed, lets us know if the compressor is running or if there's been a fault, and lets us program the temperature and see what's going on inside the box. All right, shall we?
Yes!
So I'll turn the unit on. So it's reading the box at 45 degrees. And then turn the fan on. I'm psyched to have this up and running. It's the first appliance that's up and running inside Arabella. It's going to take a little bit to figure out how cold we want to make the plates in the freezer so that things in the fridge are cold but not freezing, and we might have to make some holes in that plastic divider so there's a little more airflow. But this is really going to be a great opportunity this summer to test this out and see how it works. And I agree with KP. I think we should get some drinks and some snacks, maybe some ice cream. Throw that in here this summer and have some treats in the boat. So yeah, let's leave this be. It's 45.0 now Fahrenheit, and we'll let this run for the day and see how the box cools down and see if things freeze in the fridge or freeze in the freezer, and we'll get some snacks to throw in here later for sure.
Yes.
Well, we got the fridge up and running, and it is full of seltzers. Thank you, George.
I would like grapefruit, please. Thanks.
there's 2 probes that go in here. So one is right back here, and this probe is measuring the temperature of the cabinet. So we want that away from the cold plates, and we want it about halfway up the cabinet so we can get a good idea of what the average temperature inside the box is. And there's another probe that looks just like this, and it's attached to the plate over here, and that measures the temperature of the plate. So this is showing us right now that our compressor is running, and it's currently running on low fan speed, and the ambient temperature inside the box is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And the other big equation to this is how much power we're drawing. And right now we've got it hooked up to an EcoFlow battery here. So this is EcoFlow's Delta Mini. It's their smallest battery that EcoFlow makes. But it's amazing how powerful these little lithium ion batteries are. So this thing's under 25 pounds, and it can put out 1400 watts, and you can even crank it up to 1800 watts. So in theory, this will run your table saw. I can't imagine for all that terribly long, but it would run it.
Toaster oven?
Yep, we'll do a toaster oven. We're not going to have one of those, but if we
No,
wanted.
you want a microwave on board?
And this one, like a lot of them, it's got the USB chargers in the front. The back here, you got the charging ports in, and then your 110 plugs and your 12 volt. So right now we've got it hooked up from 12 volt here with the cigarette plug over to the bus bar, and then that's to the fridge. So you can charge 12 things off this little rig. And it's amazing how fast these lithium batteries can be charged. So
Yeah.
we've been using this AGM battery back here for the last few days for the fridge. And it takes almost half a day to charge that battery up with the automotive charger. And this thing will charge in just over an hour and a half. Yeah, which is crazy.
Sweet.
It'll go from 0 to 80 in 1 hour if you put like the fast charge on.
Well, and you can run it down all the way. Like you can only run that halfway down. You can run that pretty much all the way down, right?
Yeah, so the AGM, the lead acid batteries, you start to do damage to them if you run them below 50% on a regular basis.
Yep.
This one you can run down all the way. So yeah, according to EcoFlow, this thing will charge 3 to 4 times faster than other lithiums on the market, and any of the lithiums are worlds faster than the AGM. And then you can see it's about the same size space for similar levels of power, except this one you get all the power out of it, and it's about half the weight.
Yeah.
So you can start stacking a bunch of battery banks in the boat. Going with the lithium certainly saves a ton of weight.
Well, and you can just plug it into the wall and charge it instead of this
Yeah,
trickle charger thing.
yeah, and yeah, they're really easy to hook up to the solar panels and stuff. And like the Bluetti that we did some tests with earlier, this also has an app, so you can set that and keep real good tabs on it. But for our purposes, this screen right here is perfect. So on the low, with the compressor running, we're only pulling 35 watts, 37 watts. That's really not too bad. And we've got 16 hours left on that battery.
Nice.
But it's pretty amazing, like the difference. So you turn the fan up to medium. Now we're jumping up to 50.
So what?
48.
30,
Yeah,
37
we're
to
36, 37. Now
from 16 hours to
47.
13 hours. That's still pretty good.
And then if we go to high, does that difference about again. We'll go up to like 70 something watts for output. And we'll drop down to 8 hours.
7 or 8 hours. But that's cranking on high. I mean, that you won't need to leave it on high probably.
No, we shouldn't need high except for when we're like in the tropics and
Well,
the boat
even
is really
then,
warm, and even then maybe
It's
not.
so insulated. Well, we'll see.
So, and we can also turn the fan totally off.
Oh yeah. Just buy some ice. Throw it in.
Well, no, the compressor will still run. The fan to cool down the compressor isn't running.
Oh, right.
So that's all the fan control is. The
Okay,
compressor
to
will
circulate
still
the
kick
water,
on
the
and off.
air.
Yep, but what it
Okay.
does is it moves air around the compressor and it helps the compressor run cooler and more efficiently.
Gotcha.
Ooh, so we're down to 19.1 degrees. So the fan's been on low all night. It got down into the 40s last night, Fahrenheit. And yesterday in the heat of the day, it was probably almost 80 Fahrenheit in here. We were about 24. So I think, let's just turn that fan off. Give this a while and see what it does. And we used a good chunk of the battery, still 33% remaining. And we were at 100% towards the end of the day yesterday when we got it hooked up. So that's not terrible. We'll have to eventually add up the watt hours here and see if we can figure out a daily average for the fridge. Right now, the real game is figuring out, do we need the fan on at night? Do we need the fan on low, on high? How cold do we need it? And once we get the fridge here to a happy stasis, and it's holding a good temperature, and the ice cream is frozen, and the drinks are not frozen, and we've got that figured out, then we can really start to keep track of the watt hours here and see how much it's using. But first we got to kind of figure out how to run it, because depending on how we run it, depends on how much energy it takes. So I think we'll plug the EcoFlow in here and let this top up. It's at 33%, and with how fast this thing charges, that's not going to take much time at all. And we have our old AGM there in the back that we can use as backup if we need, but man, the lithium is just so much easier. Thanks for coming.
Of course. I never turn down an opportunity for some crazy steam hijinks. This one is of my own design and creation, which is why it looks the most terrifying, I think. So this is a monotube steam generator. Water gets pumped up two coils actually that are in here, which are heated from underneath by I think it's a 10,000 BTU ice heater. Water goes in here, comes out here.
Okay.
I can check that it is working with
So
this
you're getting
valve,
steam out of it.
and I can make sure that it isn't going into the separator while I'm doing that with this.
Okay.
When it's all going, shut this off, open this. I have the line to the hose closed at that point, and I have this open just so that I can see when enough steam is being generated that I'm happy.
Yeah.
Shut that off, open that.
Do you just hook this up to like a garden hose?
Yep.
Full open, full pressure?
No, not full open. It's
Okay.
actually, it wants a trickle.
It's a trickle.
Yeah, too much, and you just end up with hot. This is a brilliant water heater, by the way. I've used it. I've used it for that, for filling up my 55-gallon drum. That's my outside swimming pool. These are industrial steam cleaners from the 1950s, 1960s ish, I think. These run on diesel. I've gotten this one partially working, and it partially working is it's got about a flame about a foot high shooting out the top of this. It was sputtering though, it wasn't consistent, so that's the problem. It's a question of tinkering, I think. Also there's a leak in the fuel tank, which is...
Yeah, where's the leak in the fuel tank?
On the back, of course.
Oh, where you can't get to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
nice, naturally.
gonna nip that off and have a look at some point. And then there's this one, which honestly is the one that I'm most hopeful for because I think it's the best designed. The only thing that's wrong with it that I can tell is that the fuel pump is not actually pumping. Fuel is getting to it, but it is not getting out of it again. But otherwise, it's got a massive fuel tank.
Oh, that one's fuel?
Yeah, this is a fuel tank, and the coil is enormous.
Yeah,
It
wow.
is packed. This is going to generate a lot of steam when it's going.
And this one's also diesel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's coming out of this scary looking gun?
Yep.
Perfect.
In both cases, yeah.
Both cases.
So I figure between the three of these, we will get something useful and slightly terrifying to work.
water in it, right?
Yeah. Obviously.
All right.
You ready?
Yep. Now we're gonna go. Ready? Keep going forward. Down.
In order to fire this one up, the crew was pretty sure that it just needed some work on the fuel pump. So the first step was getting that off and taken apart.
Do you want a 1 16th socket, I heard?
You got a 1 16?
1 1/16?
I think no, we're after 1 1/4. I think.
I have 1 1/4 too.
We'll take it, sir.
You take a 1
Take a
1/4?
1 1/4.
With pickles and relish on the side.
There we go.
Is there a 9/16 up there?
No, I took that one out. Yeah, there is. Here, I'll hand it to you. As long as I don't have to get up and hand you stuff.
Half inch, please.
Half inch.
Half inch. It's tight. It's already tight. You'll loosen it up.
Yeah, so you can get it.
Can I have that
You would just want the whole thing? Yeah. All right. Well, I tried.
here? Turn it off for a second. All right, that's half inch, right? The top lead is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nope, it's
Oh no, 9/16. Sorry.
9/16.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay.
There's fuel there. I've already checked that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Hang on.
I mean, the bleeder might be clogged. Should we take the bleeder off?
Do it again. Do it again. There's nothing there.
A little bit.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
You're pumping diesel now.
Oh yeah, we are.
Is this going to be like when I showed up in my flip-flops to pour the lead keel?
Here with your flip flops?
Not a bit. That's cool.
All right.
Oh boy!
Yes! Yes, you did.
All right, turn it off. I want to clean this oil up. All right.
Nice job.
Bada bing, bada boo. Without a new oil ring.
Nice job, Steammeister.
Fuel is on.
Show's on. All right, fire it up.
Careful.
Oh my God!
Water is on.
Water's on.
Yeah.
the day.
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
A
steam.
little too well. We might have to dial that
You
down.
put some
a little bit.
urea in there, you're gonna be able to tie knots. And
I'm gonna be able to tie knots anyway. I think actually dialing down the water and the flame.
Yeah.
I think because we don't need that much.
No, that's insane. That's intense. We might be able to steam the plank with that without the plank in a bag.
Yeah.
Just walk down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's a great ending point for the day.
I agree.
Well done, gentlemen. Well done.
Thank you.
That was insane. That was insane.
That was so awesome.
The noise
That's
too.
like
That
down-
thing running and the
Really?
steam pouring out. It's like Apollo's ready to take off.
It didn't take that much. Like, how much did that use?
Yeah.
I really think we should get some new fuel and make sure it's 4 or lighter.
Yeah.
The
Which
other
I
thing is
think
we
it's
cranked that dial in.
Yeah, we don't need that much. That was a lot.
No, I don't think we
So
do.
I think that's adjustment there.
Next week, Andrew's crazy steam machines get put to work and the locust shear strake goes up on the boat. Thanks as always for watching along, and don't forget to like the video if it agreed with you. Leave us a comment below and take a sec to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can catch another video next Friday.